And that is a more connective way to bring the other person in to feel safe and open up. Because from what I was hearing from you, in this house, there is nothing like, I don't know, it will be like a parent talking to a child.
Right.
And once that happens, guess what happens? The one that is assuming the role, being put in the role as a child, will start being defensive. And they would also look at you like the dad and respond in a way that you may not like. But it's all about how we communicate that will be advantageous for everyone. So what is it that I can do to support you so that you can start sharing? But take it in small doses. If it's overwhelming or you find it so difficult to open up, just take it just little bit doses, and I will support you. And if you need help to express, know that I'm always here to help you. That brings different contexts in there. So in communicating, words are so important. Words, the same words that would crush someone, if you use it differently, it will encourage and build other people.
Any more comments on that segment? So we're still learning about each other. We're learning about how we like to support each other. When Austin was speaking, something came to mind, and I just remembered it. You said that you talk to your friends, or you have friends, but because you're not sharing emotions, it's almost like you have friends but you don't have friends. Because I know a lot of guy friends who, this is my friend, but they don't talk to them about deep stuff. So who do you talk to about those deeper things, the important things in your lives? Who do you talk to? Do you really though? Okay.
Or just don't talk about them.
Or you don't talk to them about them?
With your own mind, I guess you kind of like find the nothing box and
stick it in there. And as soon as you put it in the nothing box, it becomes nothing.
Yeah.
But it doesn't become nothing though, because it comes out in other ways, doesn't it?
It becomes undealt with issues, and then it shows up in other areas.
Right. So I'm encouraging, thank God for men.
Let's give the men a big round of applause. Yes. Men come in and have a seat. We were fasting and praying for you. And God led you into his house. Amen and amen. Hallelujah. We claim it in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you for coming in. We're talking about how men and women communicate their differences. And we're having really good conversations about the fact that men have friends, but they don't really talk to them. They don't have deep conversations with them. Who's your best friend? They don't really have a lot of best friends. They have a lot of guy friends to do sports with, go to the gym with, play ball with, all that stuff. But when it comes to the important things, when they break it down, because men do break down, do have emotional moments as well. Who do they talk to? Austin said they either talk to the woman or they put it in their nothing box, and they believe that it then dissolves into nothingness, but actually doesn't dissolve into nothingness because it impacts other areas of their lives. So who do you talk to? Men. Okay, you talk to your dad.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Joe.
Sorry? Joe.
Joe.
And you?
Cordell.
Yeah. So, Joe and Cordell. How do you communicate when you are having a chat with your friends? What is it that you guys talk about?
Life, our behaviors, I guess, and our commitments, stuff like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we talk about how to become better people and strive for greater things. So sometimes we're on low points, but we know that we're destined for greater things. So we just try to motivate each other to get to that point.
Wow,
That's awesome.
that's awesome.
Now we're thinking that this is kind of novelty because we don't hear this very often. We don't hear young men saying we talk to each other, we motivate each other, we inspire each other, we talk about life. Because I think what we see in society or how it's been generalized is that men just talk about football and cars and entertainment and things like that. And actually that's what research shows. But we're finding, because I'm finding even in our home, our children, the boys, they're talking about real stuff. You know, my boys will call and say, Mom, can I talk to you? It's been an hour and a half, they're talking about their lives and what they want to do and what they want to achieve. So I think we as women as well need to encourage our boys. For those of us who are mothers, we need to encourage our young boys when they're growing up that it's okay to express your feelings. We have another video, the man box.
We'll show that. Which video?
Man box.
Yes. Yes.
Do you have?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So we'll look at man box. If it's, should we do that or no?
Yeah. In the end, if you do.
So I think that we as women, we're the ones who raise the children. And I think part of the problem is us women, right? We're the ones who tell the boys, buckle up, you don't need to cry, you're a man, be a man. And when our little girls come to us, they think they're so cute that and then you want to cuddle them and put a plaster and hug them and kiss them and all of that. And you do that to young boys as well. But as the boys are growing up, you start seeing significant difference in how you treat the boys. Am I wrong?
No, it's the truth.
It is the truth. But guess what? We're setting them up for problems in the future with their spouses. Because now their spouses want them to be emotional, but they know from their upbringing, be a man, be strong, don't cry, don't show emotions, be tough, act hard. So yes, we're kind of our own problems, where we can also be our own fixers. And we can start now with our children growing up now. And I'm so happy to hear that the young men of today moving away from the stereotype of the men. I know that my dad, he's, I don't know how old he is, 90 something. All he talks about is, in fact, you can't really have proper conversations because all he wants to talk about is school, academics. If you come from that generation, it's all about, you study. Even just the other day, he called, he's like, okay, what are you studying now? You're going to study again? I'm like, seriously? Is life all about studies? There's not a lot of conversations. So we as women need to encourage our men to speak up.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, is this man box?
So I grew up in New York City, between Harlem and the Bronx. Growing up as a boy, we was taught that men had to
process. We wanted to share this with you. Usually when we go around and do programs in the high schools, and we show this clip, and before showing the clip, we will ask the question, if a situation happens, who will likely be emotional and shed tears? You will see all the women who will raise their hand, all the girls. Then we will ask the boys, why aren't you showing emotions and crying? And the men and the boys will say, it's a women thing. Why must we cry? Because we are not weak, we are strong. And in our minds, we will be reflecting, where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? If it's not coming from the home where you were brought up, then where is it coming from?
And I think too, if men cry in front of us as women, we take it for a joke.
We do.
And then, we can initially start to abuse their emotion. And so again.
And that also comes from childhood too. Because imagine you are all growing up at home, then the 5-year-old crying, the 5-year-old girl crying, the 5-year-old boy crying naturally. they want to give attention to the 5-year-old girl. Oh, are you okay? Why? And the boy, they will come with different approach. Then they will start conceptualizing in their mind that, okay, I'm a boy, I should not be crying, because even if I cry, nobody will give me attention. It will be taken as a joke. So we grow up, and this is where men start suppressing and pushing down their emotions. And you push down your emotions, you form the iceberg in you. And that iceberg, you know, it was the same one that sank the great Titanic. So imagine how men will start sinking. That is why when it comes to suicide, when men attempt and they want to kill themselves, they succeed more than the women. Because to them, they have reached their limit and it is definitely out. But the women, they want to recharge and they will talk, and as they start talking, they are emptying their cup and they are able to connect and get help. But men are more likely to succeed when it comes to suicide. So women, we are part of the problem and solution. Men, we are part of the problem and solution. So if you are a mom and you have boys at home, it is okay when they are angry. And that's why the boys, when they are angry, they start punching holes. It's because the energy, the emotion, they want to release it. They are walking like time bomb. They are. So it is okay to let them know that whatever that they are going through, you are there to listen, and that when they even become emotional and they cry, crying is never a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you deeply care as to whatever that is going on. And if we start teaching them this concept, any woman that is out there that really want to connect with their man, when they are emotional, they say, wow, they are human beings too, especially our children. They see their dad shedding tears because they are releasing their emotions. So when somebody passes away, the women will be crying and the men want to keep things hidden and they want to be strong, because they will say, if I cry, who will be there for all of them? I need to be there so that I can, be the power protector person. But it's okay. It's okay. Why? Because God himself and Jesus wept. He cried. So that is okay. That we too, we can shed tears too, because we were made in God's image. And if God cries and he shed tears, why must we keep it in? God says, I'm a jealous God. And sometimes we say it's only women who are jealous.
That's part of the question.
It's part of the question. Then please come and do the quiz. So it's just a quick quiz. It's a true or false.
Choose 5 from the room.
Okay, so I'm just going to choose 5 from here. Women's language is more direct than men's. True or false?
False.
How many of you think is false? Let's see your hand. How many of you think it's true?
It's not a woman thing, it's true.
Hello? True or false?
True.
True. Because they are more
Direct.
Yes. Men seek assistance from others
Okay, can we
more than women.
can
Yes.
we put a pin in it for a second? So we need to understand why it's true. Based on what we've done over the last couple of sessions, I would feel in my relationship, I feel like I'm more direct than my wife. So when we talk about language, what are we talking about then?
You miss a whole lot.
No. So explain it to me. So when we say language, what are we saying?
You miss a whole lot. When we talk about it, it's about the concept of communication. We did a role play here. If you were here, you'd be in
What, today?
stitches. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, but
I'm sorry.
I kind of just don't understand just because, like, when I hear direct, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like straight to the point.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Rather as they kind of like women more dance around certain things.
Come close to me. Come.
Okay.
Speak and express yourself.
Oh, so like what I just said.
Yes.
Okay, so what I just said was men are more so like black and blue and red, than women more so dance around what they're trying to say rather than just getting to the point and then being understood.
Yes, and it demonstrated in our discussion. You remember when who did the role play? Matthew, and that's why it was direct. And the women came, they were going to Nova Scotia and Vancouver.
So men.
Yeah.
So men are more direct.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you said false.
What did I say? You guys are very good listeners. I was testing you. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Guess I'm going like, so I didn't miss anything. Okay.
Yes. You guys are very good listeners. That is awesome. I am happy that we have got students here that are really listening. Wow, we are so proud of you. Hallelujah. Amen.
Amen.
Amen and amen.
Sugar dumpling.
So, women try to change others more than men.
True.
That is a lie.
Hello.
True.
Hello.
Number three. Women try to change others more than men do.
True.
That's true. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Women, are you fighting against that? What? You lose the fight.
Emmanuel, let's fight it. Let her testify.
I'm fighting. It's a lie.
Are you lying to yourself?
No, I'm not. That's a lie.
So let's look at number 7. Men need more.
Number 6.
Respect is a major issue in the female world.
Respect is a major issue in the female's world.
Yes, true.
False.
That is false.
No, men need respect. We want the love.
Love.
You guys
What?
the respect.
Love.
Respect is not a major. That's why there's women's rights. That's why they're fighting for women's rights, to get the respect.
It's not so much the respect. That's not what we're fighting for.
So then why equal rights for women? Why not just leave it like it is? Why are women fighting?
No, because
But we're talking about relationship.
That is a relationship.
Yeah.
No, respect is not. No, it's not.
Justify yourself.
okay, so
We always say.
in the relationship, a man demands the respect more than we do. Respect for us. Yes, we want to be respected. We want you guys to respect us, but that's not our biggest deal in a relationship.
Yeah.
And what was I gonna say? I just had a brain fart.
Freeze. It's called a freeze.
We, as Emmanuel says, we rather you guys love us, but in the same breath, respect our opinions and treat us well. But we rather your love than anything else.
So, what is the difference between love and respect? What is the difference between love and respect?
I personally think respect is an issue in the female world. I don't know what context we're speaking from. Just in general, within the female world, I think men do respect women, but in a relationship context, I guess men do treat people in relationships a bit better, but like in general, in the world, men do disrespect women, and that's a major issue in a general context.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Another, love and respect. Which one would women prioritize and which one would men prioritize?
I would say
that I would prioritize love, and for what I've known, they would prioritize the respect.
And I would concur.
I will come to our newly married woman here. Let's give her a big round of applause.
I agree with Emanuela, but like you can love me, but you can also disrespect me. So for me personally, I think I'd rather respect, because you showing me respect shows me that you love me.
Absolutely.
So I don't know. That's where I'm coming from.
Hello, young lady. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to agree with my girl Shantae over here. It is one thing to love me, but you have to respect me, or else there's no love.
No, but like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
But okay.
hold on. This is getting very.
Because like the love, right, is rooted in respect. So when you don't show me love, you don't respect me. You know what I mean? You can respect me, give me my space, but when you don't add that love, I feel like I'm not loved. Right? And the assurance and all of that stuff.
Hold on a minute. Our auntie is here. Auntie, what do you think? Love and respect. Which one would a woman, go for?
I would say love.
How come?
Well, I think if you truly love the way we love, and I mean we try to love as Jesus loved and God loves, and so you would just naturally respect.
Wow. Rob, I'll come to you, but our lady here, and now it is called the ladies' night. Love and respect. Which one do you think that you would go for?
Love.
How come?
She said it very nicely, and I just agree with her. I don't think I could say it better than that.
Thank you. Edisonia, love and respect. Which one would you go for?
Love.
How come?
As she said, love, once you show love, it's showing compassion, it's showing respect. It's kind of full-fold. You can disrespect somebody and not love them. When you love them, it's a whole. It's a whole.
Okay. I think we're going to leave that conversation because we have the answer. The answer is men want respect and women, and this is in generalization. Generally, men prefer respect, women prefer love.
And the way men receive love is when you respect them.
Yes.
They receive love in respect. And women, when you love them, they also see the respect coming because they know that you value them. That is why God was so intentional to put it somewhere in Ephesians and say that men love your wives. Never said men respect your wives. He said love your wives. And he said that women submit means reverence, respect, honor them. So you respect them. So you go to a room full of men and women and you ask the question, love and respect, which one would you go for? About 88%, according to research, 88% of women will put their hands up for love. And only 12% will put their hands up for respect. And majority of the men will put their hands up for respect. And that is how it has been.
But know that respect and love equal the same thing. It's just how it's received differently.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Men do not want women to disrespect them in public. Men do not, in private, but mostly in public. They don't want you to be up in their faces, and women, we do that. Sometimes we have to be honest. We do that. Our tone, our body language, our attitude turns men off. They don't want that, and women too, and women. And men, women want to know you love them, and it's through your action, through your behaviors, through respecting. So it equals the same thing.
Okay.
Okay, I'm moving on. I'll go to the second page.
Okay.
So 2 more from this.
Okay. Women are more apologetic than are men.
Yes. Oh, yes, they are. Yeah.
What you say?
Yeah, they are.
Don't tell no lies.
Yeah.
Women are more apologetic than are men.
We are.
Easily.
Okay, next.
True or false?
True.
Move
Number
on.
17.
Number 17.
Oh no, number 15.
Women usually dominate public discussions. True or false?
False.
Okay, you're talking about women, not you. Don't personalize it.
Yeah, that's what I had to do. So, okay, true.
Women usually dominate public discussions. True or false?
True.
How many of you think it's true?
Discussions?
How many of you think it is false?
It's false. I see Steve Harvey. He said, when you go home, she gonna get you. It's not public. It's private.
I guess it all depends on the individual.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather deal with you privately
Yeah.
than actually in public. Because I just, for me, it's just embarrassing and it's just not good. So I'd rather wait till we reach home. Then when we reach home, then I deal with you.
Does it depend on the subject?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
Yeah.
What's true?
Yeah.
Yeah. It depends on the subject. Okay. Number 17.
Women
take more physical risks
than men.
Okay. Is that an easy one?
Yeah.
On average, men talk on the phone more than women.
That's false. It depends whose husband. Very generally women do.
And hold on a minute, and let me touch on this. Men talk about health matters more than women. Men talk about health matters more than women.
False.
So, in other words, our men, we should be listening to our women. When they are not well, we are quick to tell them check in at the doctor's office. But when they are not well and you tell them to check in, they give you all excuses why they should not go. So it is imperative that as we look after our women, when our women also communicate to us about our health, we should also listen too. Because in doing that, you are building the connection.
Okay, so we're at the point where I need the men to be on one side and the women to be on the one side, and you're going to have a conversation. How do you want to be communicated to? So you listen. Yesterday we talked about healthy relationships, and you need to tell each other how you want to be communicated to. We've talked about love, we've talked about respect, but how will you listen? What will you listen to and what will you not listen to?
So if we get the men at the
back
and all the women come here, so we're going to have a 5 minutes discussion, and we want one person to write down some stuff, and after that you will do a feedback.
The board.
Yeah. And let's see what the women. So the over 35s.
Let's have something from the feedback.
Yeah.
Here, who wants the feedback from this group?
Okay, that right. Take it off. Come on.
Yeah. Come on.
Stand up if you can, please. And face this way.
What? What? I can't. What?
He's the director. They call him the boss. Yes.
Hey, David. I gotta get her off her game now.
So we as over 35 said we like eye contact, positive language.
Can you give an example of a positive language?
The tone. I think the tone is very important. Right, ladies?
Yes.
Yeah.
And just like your body language has
Your
to
body
match
language.
the eye
I don't
contact that
like
you're giving us.
eyeglasses, sunglasses. Shima had mentioned was the eye contact. I even say to people, take off your glasses when you're having a conversation with me because I need to see your eyes.
Yeah.
Because I think that's very important for women because then you feel a connection as you're speaking to them, to us, I should say. Be direct. Be directive. Who got that one?
Melissa. I do.
What was
like,
your?
Just be direct. Don't take so long to get to the point of what it is that you're trying to say.
A woman after my own heart.
If there's something specific. Yeah.
Everybody got that one?
She must be polite.
Yeah, of course she is. Of course she is.
Listen intently. So don't be so, partner that with active listening, not be doing other things while you're
While you're trying to talk.
while you're trying to have a conversation. Side note, I was saying.
Of course. See? Like it's all about her.
It ain't about you. You're represented.
Just an example because
We don't need an example.
Just an example. I was saying to Rob.
Clerks don't need an example.
I was giving him an example. It was something to do with his brother. And I was going on and I was telling him about his brother. And then I stopped. I jumped over and I went on to another subject. And he was on his phone and he stopped and he goes, I am listening to you. How do you skip over it like that? Come back to that point. Because I am listening like this. And I had to go double back and explain in depth. Yeah. Turn off the TV for men. Because we find that you're distracted, especially sports. I don't have conversations with Rob, and my boys are kind of the same way. You just can't have a conversation when sports is on. It's just gonna go south. So I just wait until they finish. Mind you, it's on 24/7 in my house, but take your headphones out of your ear.
This seems like you wrote this.
Yeah, I know.
Don't stop in the middle, just listen instead of interrupt.
Don't interrupt.
Yeah,
don't interrupt.
Pretty much. And what I was saying with that is even if I'm saying something and it's not the way you want me to articulate it, don't correct me. Just let me speak.
And men, point number 8, men.
Yep.
Stop eating.
Because you're focused on the food, you're not listening.
No TV, no music.
You're listening to.
Put the phone away. The tone. I think the tone for all of the women, the tone was a deal breaker because a negative tone in response to what we're saying, and not walking away.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Now we have the under 35.
Yeah.
So Lash said, calm
Stand up,
manner.
please.
Calm manner. You want to elaborate?
So basically for me, it's just like, if you want to talk to me, I need you to come to me like in a positive energy, like just not yelling, just calm and collected and speak to me.
And you said zero aggression.
Yeah, so just no yelling, just don't yell at me.
Are we speaking to Matt?
Undivided attention.
Okay, just go through.
Undivided attention, empathy, actively listening, so affirming what was said. So like if when you affirm what was said, you're actually heard her. Taking ownership, listening without correction, domination. I said eye contact, no assumption, listening without continuous commenting or responding, no interruptions.
Okay, so that's quite similar to the over 35. So women, we're consistent, right? We know what we want. Men, we just said no sidebar conversation.
So like address matters straight up, direct, basically like instead of like hinting or like at anything, basically just like tell us. I know like I've heard my coworker tell me multiple times how many times she's hinted at her boyfriend that, hey, that vase looks pretty empty, like, you know, just if you want flowers, it's just, we're not paying attention half the time, so tell us. Speak at a slower pace. Sometimes people are just speaking. That's funny how I'm speaking this fast, but yeah, just so we can understand, because you know, most times we're in that nothing box and we're like on the first point you said when you're like now at the fifth, so we're still trying to like understand everything. Just our like I guess body language. Who said that?
Me.
You?
No, I did.
You did? What was that about?
Well, because they like to make like some script.
Oh yeah, like
you say something like what? What's wrong with you?
Attitude.
Yeah, just basically the fourth one right there. Don't make any assumptions. Assumptions just they never really go well. Speaking from experience too. Don't bring up what is the
No,
that says old? Oh.
It says old. But listen, don't bring up old things. Okay, that was in the past. That's it. I did. All right. Don't bring up old.
We kind of, like I kind of like get it in a sense, like because you guys connect everything to everything, so like it's very easy for you, like you ladies, to bring up stuff in the past. But when it has to do with like something that's like just happened yesterday, and then you start talking about something that also happened like 6 months ago, is that kind of like what we're getting at? Yeah. Break in between sentences, so just I guess pausing.
Kind of process what's going on. Yeah, let's just get in. Yeah.
Too much knowledge. I put like the break in between sentences, just because like. Sometimes we do want to say something, you know, or like I understand you're trying to vent, but sometimes we don't want to just be a pylon, but we want to be in conversation as well. So if we're just standing there and listening, I mean it's like kind of boring. So yeah.
Okay, and the last one was.
Well, deal with present issues. It kind of has to do with don't bring up old things. But
okay. So, great, well done. You guys did a really good job. Round of applause for everybody. Does it make sense? Men, because we have more women. So men, are you hearing what the women are saying? Does it make sense to you? Do you agree that you do some of these things? Like you do get distracted. You like to interrupt. You like to rescue. That's one of the things that men like to do. They like to rescue. So they don't like to listen to all the story because they think they know the end of the story. So the women are saying, just listen.
Let's chill.
Even if you're bored, the woman is important to you, just listen. Is it possible to do that, men? We need to commit to something, right? It's hard, but practice makes perfect.
Or better.
Okay. What about the women? What the men are saying? What the men are saying? They want you to speak. They want you to slow down. Women, why do you speak fast?
You want to vent, but sometimes we just want to get it all out all at once.
Right?
Listen, I don't care if you say nothing back. I just want to say everything and then discuss it.
Oh, be done with. I see. I'd be done with it.
That's right. That's right.
Like, I came home from work and it was a crazy day. I'm like, oh my goodness, like this happened and this happened and then on my way home this happened. And now I'm good.
That's all I want. We're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that. We're going to come back to that.
And then on the trips on the side, baby, I love you. Hope you have a better day tomorrow.
Oh, so that's what you're looking for? So that's what you're looking for? A dumping and then an affirmation, a validation.
Right, and then a little hug up and a little trips up. Baby, I love you. You know, I hope you have a better day tomorrow. And then I'm going about my business.
Yeah. Okay, so you don't want any responses, just...
No, I just want you to hug me up, kiss me up, tell me, baby, it's going to be a better day tomorrow, and then let me go about my business.
You hear that, men? Okay, women, men are saying the attitude, lose the attitude.
Well, it wasn't in regards to the attitude, but back to, taking breaks and all that. Because as women too, we know that the men are dominant in the conversation. So if we take a breath, then you want to control the conversation. So I'm going to keep talking and say what I have to say so you can't say nothing. Because you're going to dominate
so
this
you got
conversation.
The floor, so you just need to get
exactly. So let me get it out and
get it speedy fast.
That's a great conversation. That's fantastic.
That's the problem right there.
Right?
The problem is, men, the women are saying, you're not listening. You don't listen to us often enough, and so when we get the moment, we just want to get everything out from last year, the year before, and we have to speak fast because there's a lot of things we need to get out.
And if you notice, even if we had 10 groups that men were in, they will not put active listening. Check it out. Because men, all that they want is that sometimes they can be very impatient. Because the women are expressing, they just want you to just, in their mind, okay, you know what, just get to the, and the point is, and the point is, and the point is. And that will take you away from connecting with the woman. Because when women are sharing, all of them had expressed active, not only listening, but active listening. What is active listening?
We'll come back to active listening.
Okay, slow down.
Yes.
You're too struggling, eh?
You see, I have to utilize my active listening. She spoke, I need to listen and slow down. Hallelujah.
Okay, so we just want to finish the bit about what the men are requesting. I think it's important that as women we listen the same way that we want our men to listen to us in how we want to be communicated to. Otherwise, there's no point in this exercise. There's no point in this seminar. And so now let's go to the tips. We'll come to the listen part. So this is for the women. There's tips for women. Women, the men are saying, keep it in short sentences. Edit it down. It is true. My friend in the back, we learned earlier on that men talk about what?
Sports, money, cars.
Okay. So when you come home and you want to vent all of that to them, you're wearing them down. Seriously, you need to choose the right moment, and you need to realize the person I'm going to talk to, I'm not going to get that reception. Let me call my girlfriend. Because guess what? She's going to give you that support, that encouragement, that validation. She's going to nurture you. She's even going to offer to go for coffee with you, which is what you need at the end of the day. So let's be prudent. We know who our partners are. We know that that's how God wired them. So let's edit what we tell the women, the men. If they don't listen, it's actually our fault. Okay? Knowledge is powerful, so let's know that. We're editing it, we're pausing and asking for feedback if you need feedback. So, When I need to tell Elvis something, I tell him before my sentence. I need you to just listen. I don't want feedback. Or I want to share something with you and I want a response before I start speaking. So he knows whether to interrupt or to come in. Because oftentimes, and I've experienced it as well because I'm a woman. Because when I'm speaking, my husband wants to rescue the situation. If I tell him something when I used to work outside of our practice, if I have a situation, he wants to go beat that person up. You know? But I have to work with that person. I have to continue that relationship with that person, but they're quick-tempered. Men are quick-tempered. And they're protectors. They don't want somebody to hurt their wives, Rob. They don't want somebody to speak down on their spouses. We are important to them. And so when we come with everything, all the rubbish that we get outside, and we give it to our men, what are we expecting? For them to just sit down and say, okay, kiss, kiss? No. They have emotions too. They don't like their spouses, their wives, their partners, significant other being mistreated. And God made them to be hunters and protectors because they're going to put on that protective role. So let them know what you need before you start speaking. Do you think we can do that?
Yeah.
We can practice that. Okay. And don't attack. And women, we kind of catastrophize a little, don't we? We kind of embellish things. I said that my husband embellishes, but women, we kind of make things a little bit bigger than it really is. So we need to pause. We really do need to pause and reflect before we go to our spouses. Because when we don't pause, then we go with all that. And they're going to react with all that. Or they're going to challenge us. Really? Did that really happen? And when you think about it, you can answer the question, well, actually no. But because they challenge you, you're angry. And that person who challenged you, but they're looking out for your best interest. They're trying to calm you down. They're trying to get you to a healthy state. Their role is not to put you down, but to help you. The only person who can help you is your person who lives with you. They have your best interest. So women, we have to be mindful of that. We have to be respectful. We've already talked about that men like to be respected. The Bible tells us to humble ourselves. It doesn't mean that we go on our knees and we grovel, we lay on the ground and walk. It just means respecting. When we respect them, when we respect our significant others, we can only get love back. Because they feel good, they feel empowered, they feel energized. And when they do, they're not looking outside. They're not looking to go pick up the phone and have an emotional affair with somebody who's going to give them the respect they're looking for. Because they're getting it at home. If they're getting it at home, why do they want it elsewhere? Right? So we have to be aware of that. And again, the last point was tell your partner if you want them to solve the problem or help you, or you just want them to listen. So when you come in, remember, if you're coming in from work with all of that, try and let some of the steam off by calling a girlfriend using your headphones. Hands-free, ladies. Okay? In doing that, men, I have some tips for you as well. But we wanted to go through the... In that case, let me do the men's one.
Yes, do the men's one.
So men, here are the tips. Listening does not mean you agree. Okay? Listening does not mean you agree. Listening means you're simply listening to somebody's perspective. Yesterday I was did a demonstration about the pink glasses and the green glasses. Your perspective, my perspective. I come to you for you to just listen, but that doesn't mean that you will automatically agree.
Question.
Validation question.
Yeah, so we want to be active listeners, but with telling a story, it's either a head nod or, oh, okay. How can men take themselves out of the response where they're not showing their face, like, oh, well, this girl said that to me and that, and we're just like, okay, all right, and just actively listen without being straight. Because I've tried it and it was so hard, right? I just straight faces
Okay.
Yeah.
There's nowhere here that says listening means you have a straight face.
But how, like, because if my wife is telling me something, she knows my faces. So if
it's a body language.
So it's like
You're talking about the body language.
Yeah, it's holding it back because we just want to. We were informed. Just listen. Don't say anything. Right. So how do we just like reserve our facial expressions and just say, "Oh, okay."
So here it is. Tomorrow I am going to give you a job. Tomorrow I want you to be a pilot. Go to Pearson and go and fly the aeroplane. Can you fly the aeroplane?
No.
Okay, then if you can't, tomorrow you will be a surgeon. Go to Mount Sinai. You are going to operate. Can you do that?
No.
Oh, so how come?
I wasn't trained?
Because you were not trained.
Oh.
To listen, you need to be trained. It is practicing. And the more you practice, you become better at it. Nobody is guru doing things for the first time, just like learning a new language. If I tell you, speak Spanish right now, you will tell me you need to learn the alphabet. It's the same thing. Listening is one of the big areas in communication. You just have to learn how to. You need to be trained.
As therapists, we listen and hear a lot of stories. Can you imagine our facial expressions when somebody's telling you something traumatic, something awful, and you're sitting there, you're making... You're going to put them off. They're going to walk away. Already, your facial expression shows judgment. I'm already judging. I'm already making a judgment based on how I am. But you can actively listen. Going to the listening is by, yeah, really? Okay. You can do that without those facial expressions. And paraphrasing, which we haven't talked about. But usually it's paraphrasing. When you're talking, before you want to respond, or even if you don't want to give a solution, just paraphrase what you've heard. For the person to know you've heard, you've listened. That's all you need to do. Oh yeah, so this is what happened once? So, okay, so I get it. So you went to work today and this is what happened and that happened, and you're feeling really frustrated? Wow, I can't imagine. I'm not you, but I'm glad that you're able to tell me this.
And to
That's paraphrasing.
And to paraphrase, you need to listen before you paraphrase. Because sometimes when somebody is expressing to you, you are already queuing questions in your head.
Yeah, or thinking of an answer.
And that takes you away out of you really listening and connecting. So start from somewhere. Your amazing wife will come. They want to tell you about a day. It's always a very good place to sit and you listen. Not that you are fixing your face like, oh, how do I do it? Just be present. Just be there, present, and just listening. As you listen, you connecting, and when she gets to a point, you say that, hey, let me try if I really get what you are saying. So this is what I'm hearing. And if you miss it, she's going to say, no, you did not get it. I was saying this. And, it's all part of connecting and listening to. But you have to start from somewhere. You can do it.
And this is not only to the men, the women too. And this is what slows down the long sentences. Knowing that the other person has to paraphrase before they respond. In couple counseling, we teach the couples to do that. We taught our children to do that. So we often, and Elvis and I do that often, especially when we're having important conversations. If we're just, having fun, we don't do the paraphrasing as much. But when we're having important conversations, we paraphrase all the time. Even when we're arguing. We've had our neighbors laugh, record us arguing because we're paraphrasing. And when we're paraphrasing, you can't get that loud. You can't get that angry. You're just stating what is being given to you, and you don't personalize. So the paraphrasing you need to learn. If you don't, practice it. If you don't know it, practice it. Go on YouTube. Paraphrasing is merely repeating back, not the same words, but what have you processed? What have you understood? What emotions are you getting from what that person is saying? It doesn't have to be long. It could be, wow, from all of that I've heard, I hear that you're really angry. Are you angry or are you frustrated? Just give it back how you've heard it. And if you haven't heard it correctly, the other person is going to correct you. So the paraphrase it back and forth. So men, listen, validate, relax, let her talk, connect, nod your head, grunt appropriately, all of that. Listen is good, don't get critical, micromanage, and don't get upset, Rob.
Okay. So here, we have got bad listening. So we are going to end the session by looking at bad listening and good listening. So bad listening, when you interrupt me, I feel frustrated. When you look away, I feel unimportant. When you ignore me, I feel rejected. When you give me unasked for advice, I feel small. When you insist on telling your story, I feel unheard.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
And good listening, when you show you know how I feel secured. When you listen with your eyes, I feel important to you. When you ask questions to make sure you know what I am saying, I feel connected. When you show that you understand, I feel value. When you give me space to talk, I feel free. Isn't it awesome? So we want you guys to take these tools and start implementing them. Because the more you do it, the more better you become. So imagine that you wear a new pair of shoes and you feel comfortable. We say that, well, keep wearing them. Because the more you wear them, the more you feel comfortable. It is the same with men and women communicating their differences. We have discussed a lot. You have the handouts there. Please go over your PowerPoint handouts and start practicing. Put it into practice. And the more you practice, the more better you become. So God bless you. And tomorrow we're going to meet up at 2 p.m. Please don't be late. L-A-T-E, late. Don't be late. We bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.